Now. Welcome, everybody. I am Paula Ludwig with the Atlantic Institute. We are about having a peaceful world. That is our vision as of a peaceful world. And by doing that, or one of the ways we can do that is by doing cultural creations, learning about other programs that we have going on. So if you would take a couple minutes and watch the Atlantic Institute video I have going on, I will show that now. Need to share my screen. Oh. That was interesting. Got it. Sorry, I gotta get the volume. The sound. All right.
The Atlantic Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting harmonious coexistence between peoples of various cultures, faiths, and backgrounds. We seek this goal through peaceful dialogue, education initiatives, and community organization. Our dialogue events bring together experts, community and faith leaders, and knowledge seekers to address social issues that affect us all. We feel dialogue is the most important element in peaceful coexistence, so we try and maintain several panel discussions, TED Talk events, and book clubs throughout the year. These events touch on social issues, race relations, and cultural understanding, and are a mainstay of our programming. The Atlantic Institute's education events are extremely important to our mission of understanding. We want to promote socially forward critical thinking to students of all ages. To that end, we have developed programs that seek to grow the creative spirit of students and help them think about their communities and the world around them. Our Future Leaders of Dialogue event brings together nominated elite students to learn from each other as well as political and business leaders. Our art and essay contest gives students a theme about important societal issues and allows them to create wonderful works of art and writing while steering their minds towards improving their world. We're always seeking ways to educate youths and adults in order to make a peaceful world for all of us. Our community events are designed to transform neighbors into friends and groups of people into a community. By associating with other nonprofits or by our own initiative, we are always trying to discover new avenues to improve our neighborhoods, places of worship, and community centers. We host cooking demonstrations of food from other cultures, work with various nonprofits to help elevate the work of others, and try to find a way to make the lives of those who are disenfranchised or marginalized better. Building a more peaceful world starts in our backyards, so we are dedicated to improving our communities and associations. The Atlantic Institute is always seeking like-minded volunteers and collaborators. If you would like to learn more, find volunteer opportunities, or just want to chat with our staff, please visit our website at www.atlanticinstitutesc.org or follow us on Facebook. We will never run out of fun, educational, peaceful events. So come join us to help make this world a better place full of understanding and unity.
If you're a homeowner and still paying for electricity,
all right,
you could be missing out on
so I want to thank everybody who has put where they're from in the chat. You continue doing that if you haven't already. Sorry about that. I had to turn the sound down on my end. All right, I am now going to turn this over to our instructor for the day, Cassandra. She's going to talk to us about origami cranes, and I am excited to see this. And if you can see the pictures behind me, that is what we're going to be striving to make. So there we go.
fear. And I asked him, there's a problem that no, we're not building. It's a bomb. We don't. So that was an initiation in my, that was my initiation in the concern about nuclear weapons. Then later on at school, we would have these drills, just like we have now when we go in hurricane drills. This was a drill for nuclear weapons, and we were to get under the desk, and it was called duck and cover. Of course, that was ludicrous to think about getting under the desk, but it did make for an atmosphere in a child's life to have concern about nuclear weapons. And then as I got a little older, there were images on the television set of those who had been victims of the atomic blast, and there were children, burned victims that were that left an impression in my mind. As time went on, I heard Dr. King speaking about nuclear weapons, and he recognized that nuclear armaments rob the nation. After we spend more and more money on military than on programs of social uplift, then this is approaching spiritual unity. Well, we had a movement that had a goal of eliminating nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, we've lost that moment. And there are close to 15,000 nukes worldwide, according to the Arms Control Association. And King's words can inspire us to jumpstart nuclear disarmament. In his sermon, Loving Your Enemies, King said it is an eternal reminder to a generation depending on nuclear and atomic energy, and a generation depending on physical violence, that love is the only creative, redemptive, transforming power in the universe. More recently, I have watched webinars of the Bakasha. Those are the people who had been in Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and they have a story of their experiences. A second generation, Habakasha, Kathleen Birkinshaw, wrote a book, The Last Cherry Blossom, and we are trying to promote that book in our school so that we can make people more aware of the issue. Thinking about how to create a better world, we must consider how we bridge an understanding and connection to one another. Engaging in meaningful exploration of peace and how we can become peacemakers in our world is a step forward to creating peace. If we look at our world situation now, we see that most leaders are doing a very poor job at bringing understanding and connection. If they do a proper job of analysis, they might realize where the problem is. We will be looking at the process of folding a peace frame and listening to a personal story to help us see how important and valuable assessment is to creating an understanding and in creating a better world. One of the best bridges that connect common life experiences that are a part of all cultures and that we relate to are stories. The creative process, folding an origami piece frame, will be used to learn about ourselves and also to create community. to reach out to the wider world. What cultural strengths support the process of peace? We will begin to establish an identity with Sadako, a Japanese girl who lived in Hiroshima at the time the atomic bomb was dropped. Her story reaches out to the world in a way that abstract words cannot reach. In this process of approach to engaging in a skill-based action, origami, we hope to teach peace with intentionality. As we engage in this process, concepts that underlie peace, open and sensitive communication, teamwork and cooperation, mediation and negotiation, critical and creative thinking for nonviolent change, and wanting for all good things are the basis for creating peacemakers. On August the 6th, 1945, the U.S. military dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima, Japan. The bomb was uranium-based and through a chain reaction of nuclear fissions exploded with a force equal to 13,000 tons of TNT. 3 days later, on August the 9th, the military dropped a second atomic bomb, this time on Nagasaki, Japan. The bomb, fueled by plutonium, exploded with a force equal to 20,000 tons of TNT. The explosions of each of these bombs resulted in a combination of intense heat, shock wave, blast wind, and deadly radiation. Approximately 140,000 people died in Hiroshima and 70,000 in Nagasaki. Approximately 80% of the deaths of these bombings were the result of burns or other injuries caused by the blast. There is no doubt that the subject of Hiroshima is a sensitive one for many Americans. While the decision to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki did not raise a profound moral issue for American policymakers, we know that even today, half a century afterward, the subject of Hiroshima and Nagasaki continues to be charged with emotion. It is of deep concern that at any time someone may come to power who has little regard for human life and might destroy our world. You can just press the trigger, a switch here, and destroy a whole city somewhere else. As these capabilities are coming, we must strive to upgrade the human being, to move beyond the limitations of your intellect and come to a deeper dimension of intelligence, which is life itself, the very source of life within us. If anything needs to happen, a certain amount of human energy, time, and resource has to be dedicated to it. So we have to invest in consciousness. These are words from the mystic Sadhguru. Which way you are going depends on who you are, whether you identify your experiences are exclusive experiences, or if your identity and experience are more inclusive. That will determine in which way the sword will fall or the bomb drop. It is time we make the voice, which refers to a dimensionless, a boundary-less consciousness, heard, and methodologies as to how to become conscious. It's very important that we invest in both physical infrastructure and human infrastructure that focuses on the innermost core of who we are. These are all words from Sadhguru. Today, some worry the public has become complacent as hugs and handshakes mask the dangers of a new nuclear arms race. Alex Wellenstein, the historian of science from Stevens Institute of Technology, said, "I want people to think of them as actual things that exist in the world, actual things that might be used in their lifetimes. They're not fictional creations. They're not cultural metaphors. They're real. They're real devices, and they're waiting in silence for the signal. William Perry, the former Secretary of Defense, said, I have come to believe that the danger of some kind of nuclear catastrophe today is actually greater than it was during the Cold War. Greater than the Cold War. We believe that the danger of nuclear annihilation had gone away, and we've never been quite able to regrasp that it's come back. You will be listening to a story called Sadako's Paper Cranes and Lessons of Peace. The story is presented in a traditional Japanese storytelling format, kamishibai, paper drama, paper show, or paper theater, in which the storyteller uses images to tell a story. Perhaps you've heard the story of Sadako and the Thousand Paper Cranes by Eleanor Core. It is based on the true story of a girl, Sadako Sasaki, who lived in Hiroshima at the time of the atomic bomb, August 6, 1945. Sadako Sasaki is also the focus of the kamishibai, Sadako's Paper Cranes and Lessons of Peace. After we hear her story, we will learn about folding a peace crane using the Japanese origami paper fold technique. The making of cranes is less important than being with a group that is making cranes, knowing that the cranes are related to a hope for peace by the child Sadako is her story. Seeing other people in the same light as you see yourself, and as we see Sadako, is part of our assessment. As a community of people, we have hopes requiring that other people join in. How can you make enough cranes or be a source of peace in the world? Peace must come from the individual and move out to the world. Other-centeredness rather than self-centeredness emerges as a powerful force when cultivating the peace building self. Peace builders are those who actively seek out opportunities to benefit others, sometimes at the expense of self-interest or self-aggrandizement. Sometimes other-centered action results in mutually beneficial outcomes for all people or parties that it involves, said the Dalai Lama. The fundamental identity with the life process, with the universe, has not happened in our world. We've gotten identified with our thought process, our beliefs, our ideology. What we need is a deeper identity. What you are identified with will always look right to you. We must establish a larger identity, an identity with the universe. As Sadhguru, we can use education as a tool for expansion and empowerment. Every book you read leaves a mark in your heart, meaning it has changed you as a person in some way. We will now hear the story of Sadako. In this first image, you can see a glass case. This case is at the World Trade Center. The brother of Sadako, Masahiro Sadako, brought one of Sadako's crane, and it has been placed at the World Trade Center. In this image, this is an image first of one of the buildings in Hiroshima before it was bombed and then after. In the effort to end World War II, the United States dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima on August 6, 1946. As you Look at this image. Please think about your own experience or of your children. A young girl in Hiroshima, Japan, named Sadako Sasaki, was 2 years old when the atomic bomb was dropped. She survived the initial blast and grew up as a happy child who loved to run and play with her friends in elementary school. In fact, she was quite an active. When Sadako was 11 years old, she started to feel weak and tired all the time. In February of 1955, she was admitted to the atomic bomb survivors hospital in Hiroshima. May I interject here that in 1955, I was 4 years old. Sadako had developed leukemia from her exposure to radiation from the atomic bomb. Just like in the United States, people will bring gifts to hospitals. I was in a hospital when I was a child and received a little stuffed animal from a group of churchgoers. Students from a girls' school in Nagoya, Japan, sent origami cranes to the hospital to help the patients feel better. Some of these cranes were given to Sadako. Sadako's father sat beside her bed and said, "When you fold 1,000 paper cranes, your wish will come true." Here we see the child folding cranes. She began folding 1,000 paper cranes, using the wrapping paper from gifts she received from friends. She would put the paper underneath her mattress to flatten out the wrinkles. When she ran out of paper, she also used the wrappers from medicine boxes. Some of the special red cranes she folded were made from the wrappers of a new medicine that was donated from the United States. Even though Sadako folded more than 1,000 paper cranes, she could not overcome her disease. She died of leukemia on October the 25th, 1955. A funeral was held a few days later, but the family was poor and did not have enough money for a tomb. After the funeral, many of Sadako's friends helped to raise money for a memorial in Sadako's memory. Several days after the funeral, Sadako's friends heard that a conference of high school principals was being held in Hiroshima. Sadako's friends worked hard to print out a leaflet to distribute at the meeting. They hoped that the principals could help them raise money for Sadako's memorial. For 2.5 years, Sadako's classmates worked hard on a fundraising campaign to raise money and support to build a memorial in honor of Sadako and all of the children who died from the atomic bombing. On May the 5th, 1958, the Children's Peace Monument was unveiled in the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park. The statue of a young girl holding up the crane is now viewed around the world as the global symbol of peace. Since 1958, many people from around the world, including thousands of student groups, have visited the Children's Peace Monument. Visitors have witnessed the annual release of doves to commemorate the anniversary of the atomic bombing. Many others have folded and sent strings of origami cranes to Hiroshima as symbols of peace. In the early 2000s, Sadako Sasaki's brother, Masahiro, decided to donate 5 of Sadako's original origami cranes to 5 continents. He hoped that Sadako's kokoro, or spirit, could be shared with others. The origami crane is a symbol of the Sasaki family's hopes for compassion and peace, and importantly, a lasting symbol of Sadako's life. Sadako folded origami cranes to keep her spirit and hopes alive. Today, Sadako's cranes have inspired the small ripple of hope for peace that has grown and spread around the world. We will watch the paper cranes be folded first by CJ. And then if you have at home a 6 by 6 inch piece of paper, preferably wrapping paper, we invite you to fold along with them. As we are folding, I hope you will think about Sadako's words. Please treasure the life that is given you. Please experience all the things that I could not experience in my life. I entrust a small part of compassion to all of you. It is my belief that my small paper crane will enable you to understand other people's feelings as if they are your own. Right? We're going to watch. All right. First thing is we have a square. We have a yes, and if you'll just watch first, Kathy, and then yes. So first you take your square piece of paper, and CJ will fold it on the diagonal first, making sure that the edges touch. Please listen carefully and watch carefully. And then she's folding the edges down smoothly. She's going to, and now CJ will fold it again, the opposite direction. CJ will now fold it so that it's a rectangle. This will make it easier to make the folds. So on both sides, the paper is folded. The next part is a little tricky. If you'll watch what she does, what CJ does, she's going to pull, the paper will be pulled to the center, held together. Then CJ will hold it and then press it gently so that it forms a square. Next, CJ will make a fold on the bottom edge up to the center fold so that it looks like a boat. CJ folds the bottom half, edges, making sure at the top that it's carefully pressed, and then CJ will fold the 2 top side edges to the center. This will create a boat shape. Notice the feeling of the paper and how she is being very careful to smooth out the edges. Now CJ will take the other side and do the same thing. Folding the paper down. to reach the center. Carefully tucking it in so that it will come out to be a nice smooth edge. Now the opposite side. Now, if you take a look, this looks like a kite shape. The next thing CJ will do is to open it out. Now you can follow the instruction sheet. The bottom half, the open side, will be folded in to the center on both sides. The top side, being very careful to make it smooth, flipping it over and folding the opposite. Now, this is not in most instructions, but CJ will flip the two shapes up. One will turn into a head, the other will turn into the tail of the crane so that it will easily be tucked inside the wing section. And once that is done, CJ will fold the head down. Now, voila, we have a piece crane, and CJ will fold the wings down so it will stand evenly on the table. Beautiful. So we will try to do that today. Remember, this is more of a process. This is for you to think about your own self as you fold the paper, how it feels in your hand. Take a piece of paper and yes. All right. It's a rectangle, both sides. Okay, let's feel it, think about it. All right, and look at CJ's. Back and forth on both sides. Breathing and thinking about Sadako and how she folded the cranes. All right, now, once you have it folded on both sides, you grab both ends of your rectangle. That's correct. And push them together as though you were making a little basket. It might be a little bit cumbersome at first. Now CJ is on the next step. That step you can follow on your instructions. On this one, you're now going to make a boat shape. So, and this is a little bit difficult. What you want to do is fold the bottom half. So as you are working on this and thinking about yourself and how you feel while you're trying to learn something new, thinking about communication and how things can easily be miscommunicated, and how sometimes it takes a lot of time for us to be able to understand and communicate with each other, and how to get things to work. My next question has to do with, have you and your family ever done anything as a gesture for world peace? Here in Colombia, we have been trying to create peace poles as a gesture for world peace. And Columbia Peace Pole Initiative has contracted or asked for an artist to create a peace pole. And we would like for you to take a look at the artist's design and hear her words as she talks about what it means to design this peace pole and how it. Thank you so much, CJ. Beautiful. And now if you'll look at the screen. So we hope that if you have an interest in helping to support these poles, you will consider planting some in your neighborhood. And you can find online Peace Poles International, and they give you instructions about how to order the peace pole, and also where you can go to get more information about the importance of peace poles. Thank you for your participation today. I hope you experienced a little bit of what we were trying to say about the story and the importance of it, and also why it's important that we can continue to raise the issue of nuclear weapons and disarmament in our world. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. I want to say I apologize. This building is not letting us get out of, it's given a lot of interference. So I apologize. There will be a video on the Atlantic Institute YouTube video, and I will send out the instructions for the crane for everybody via email. So thank you for coming, and I want to thank you, everybody, and have a great day. I'm going to end the recording now. Thank you. They loved it. They wanted to say that they thank you for all your information.
Oh, good.
Okay. No.